The Ubermacht Cypher is here. We're taking a look at it in depth this morning. Customization options, quarter mile times, top speed, lap times on a technical circuit, all sorts of good stuff. And of course, we got the speed score at the very end. How fast is this car as far as overall performance goes, taking everything into account. Give you a pretty good idea of what it's competitive with out on the track. Can you win street races with it? Maybe, I don't know. You may have heard some things about this car so far. We're gonna see if they're true or not. Stick around, let me know what you think at the end. And of course, if you like what you see and you're not already subscribed, don't forget to do that before the end of the video. I make it easy for you there in the bottom right corner. Tell your buddies if you enjoyed it as well. Helps me out a ton. First thing we're gonna do is check acceleration. Now, I wasn't able to get my video out where I do predictions this time around because, you know, kind of happens and, well, happened. Basically, the acceleration looks good, so we're going to test it against the Calico, the king of acceleration in the update. And the Calico is on the left there, and it definitely beats it to the 8th mile. Can the Cypher catch up at the quarter mile? No, it doesn't look like the Calico pulled away too much, but we're going to the half mile because that's what we do. We want to see acceleration all the way to the half mile. Calico is definitely still the king. It kind of smokes the Cypher, but to be fair, it smokes just about everything else in the tuners class. So the purpose of this video, we want to see how good it is compared to the Growler. These two cars should be fairly comparable, in my opinion, based on what they are in real life. How is it acceleration-wise against the Growler? They both get off to a solid start, but the Growler just barely edges it out to the 8th mile. That's a good sign that the car could be fairly quick. It does extend its lead to the quarter mile, and then I'm not going to sugarcoat it. On the way to the half mile and beyond, the Cypher just gets absolutely owned. There's after that 8th mile, it kind of falls flat on its face, which is a bit disappointing. So let's look at the drag times. Calico GTF, we know 6.6 second 8th mile, really quick, almost supercar level. The Growler's a little slower. The Cypher keeps up a little bit at the 8th mile and then just kind of falls away. By the time you hit the standing mile, that thing is way behind the Growler. So yeah, acceleration is not its forte necessarily. We want to check top speed. Now we're going to a custom speedway to see how fast this thing goes around this track. When I'm trying to figure out how fast these cars are going to be in the game, I always try to take real life comparisons into consideration, and the M2 is just, from what I've read, has an amazing engine, lots of power, very responsive. So I'm hoping that this is kind of where it's going to catch up, and I know that its standing mile is pretty terrible, so I'm not too convinced that's going to happen. But what might happen, it just could take it a while to get to the top speed, so that's what we're going to find out here. We're also going to compare it to the Jester RR because this is the top of the class as far as top speed goes when I'm testing here at this track. So we want to make sure that we're testing this thing out and see how it compares. And at the very top, you have the Jester RR 133.6, the Cypher at 120.0, which is just miserable. I mean, to put that into context, that's the second slowest of the entire tuners class. Only the Warner HKR is slower, and only by half a mile an hour. So power, not really a thing for the Cypher based on acceleration and speed testing. Oof, let's check out our track though. It feels pretty stable, so let's see how it can do against the Growler at the test track. Maybe this is where it's going to shine. The Growler does beat it to the first gantry, but that is not uncommon. The Growler is very fast through that first sector, as we've seen in the past. So this is where we're going to need that Cypher to start stepping up, but it does understeer. And if you know me, you know how much I hate understeer because it kills lap times. You can say you like it, you're lying. The Calico GTF is because of it. And look at this, we've got proof. The Growler is tough to drive. It has good oversteer though when you learn how to control it, and that's really useful in corners. I would say, hey, let's get excited. Maybe the Cypher can catch up on the straightaway, but we know that it doesn't have power. You can see it struggled a little bit through that last corner, and there is quite a gap between the Growler and the Cypher. We want to look at lap times, see how well it did. The Growler does pretty well. It's right up there with the RS Classic. I'm not going to show a lap time comparing it to the RS Classic because, well, There's no need. We know that it's slow. The Cypher now doesn't have a good top speed, not great acceleration, and its test track time is decent, but not great. So what's that going to mean for the speed score for this car? Well, it slots in between the RT3000 and the Remus. Who the expected that? I mean, come on. This is pretty terrible, to be honest. Rockstar kind of screwed the pooch on this one. That's not really what I was expecting at all. I think this car should be much better than it is, and this car annoys me more than even the Comet S2, I think. Because the Comet S2 at least has some redeeming qualities. We'll get into that in a second about the Cypher. But what are the best tuners right now? Still the Jester RR in third, Calico GTF in second, and the Growler on top. Growler's just excellent all around. That's what the speed score is all about. Now let's go back to talking about our Cypher. So, can you win street races in it? It's unlikely. It's really unlikely. I mean, you've seen that speed score, the 85 is really bad. I'm guessing you probably haven't won many races in the RT3000 or the Remus, so that'll give you an idea of kind of exactly what you can expect from this car. Now, I mentioned a little bit briefly that it might have some redeeming qualities. Most cars do. This car is not most cars. I don't understand it whatsoever. This might be the worst car in the update. The customization, I'll show you very quickly here, is not good. If you make a car that's this bad, you at least have to have a way to make the customization, make the car worth it in some way or another. But now I think we understand why Rockstar is giving this car away free for everybody who wins 5 races this week. If you can get it for free, go grab it, try it out, see what you think of it. But you got to remember that you're going to be putting a lot of money into it customization-wise too. The more I talk about this, the more ridiculous it sounds. I don't really recommend the car. It sucks. I really wanted it. We were so overdue for a BMW, so overdue for a nice M car, something that was quick, something that would compete at the top of the tuners class at least. But we're still stuck with a Celica GT4 that's unnecessarily fast, a 911 that's not fast enough, and now we can add to that an M2 that's not fast enough either. Thanks for joining today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to buy the Cypher? Maybe you think I'm an idiot. Looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for joining, and I hope to see you next time.